There's something I want to talk about on this in this video. Uh, of course, I'm sitting in my 505 V6. Oh, the one in front is a 504 with a 2.0 liter engine. I didn't open the bonnet, but it's expected to be SN1A because when this car was launched and sold brand new, it had SN1A engine. That's 504 2000. So now, for long journeys, I will recommend for the natural aspirated engine. If you are looking for a car to use for journeys, if you, maybe you just want a car that will be using constantly for long journeys, I'm talking about one that will last for hours on highway, high speed. I will recommend you go for the biggest, or at least something bigger. I'm talking about the engine. The bigger the engine, the better for you. Same goes with the force inductions. Like in Peugeot, what you have is turbocharged engines. So in that case, of course, the size probably may not matter in this case. But if you can, go for the bigger engine anyway. But then the power might be what you might focus on more, because I mean these days you hardly get anyone that is more than 2.0. So now the reason why I'm saying this is, for let's start with natural aspirated. The bigger the engine, the more torque. So you need that torque, especially when you are carrying heavy loads. I mean, you need to see almost all the journeys I've done with my cars, basically, except I'm taking a flight, I always load them up. First, the entire boot will be filled up with tools. My tools, components, parts. I'm a project technician, so if I'm traveling, I have to carry a lot of things. I know that if any issue comes up, I deal with it right there. Not a matter of start looking for who to deal with. So, of course, I first put the car in a condition I know it's going to go and come back. But shit happens, no matter what. Part might fail, something might break, or something. So I always go prepared. So my boot is usually filled up with tools, boxes of tools, some vehicle parts. Then I will now start talking of other stuff, especially if I'm going towards the east. Normally, in fact, on average, I always go with bag of rice. I'm not talking about 25 kg. Sometimes, there's a time I did up to 200 kg. Is it 200 or 150 kg? Yeah, about 3 of them. So what I did was I broke them into six bags, smaller bags, and started distributing them, placing them different parts. One on the front, on the floor, the front seat. The other, then about 4 on different edges of the boot. One, just to distribute the weight. Then I do that often. Then other things like this last one I did, I carried about is it 10 or more cartons of tomatoes in the boot. I mean, on that 4-7 coupe, So the reason why I'm saying all these things is, especially if you are the type that travels like me, carrying all the kind of loads. If your engine doesn't have that much power, you're gonna regret or hate that trip. You find yourself any small hill, you keep downshifting until you get almost gear 2 or gear 3. You understand what I'm saying? So you need an engine that at least should be able to have some torque. I'm not talking about speed now. Some will say everybody cannot drive V6. I'm not telling you everybody go and drive V6. You know I'm a V6 freak. But what I'm saying is, you need a car that has some torque. Forget about, let's look at the HP now. Have some torque that, and a small, when you are traveling, you don't want to be left so behind. Sometimes you meet some cars about 3 or 4 or 5 or even 10. You guys be going after a while, depending on how fast you want to go and the entire trip, or you don't want to. You can leave them behind until you meet another batch of cars. After a while, you leave them again. That's how it works. So if you don't want to always be left behind from every bunch that come, they leave you, they leave you. So when you get to some hills, the car is heavily loaded. At that time, you need a car that can easily take off, focus, pick up and then keep going with the other cars, or even if only you don't want to stay so idle, isolated on a very long deserted place where in the next 20 kilometers you are the only human beings on that road. No, it's not inside a village. There's no house, nobody. It's just like a desert or bush where any kind of animal can come out, and so you don't want to stay so idle. Armed robbers those are the kind of places they operate. So you need a car that can make you get up and go. That's my point. Let me put it that way. You need a car that has that get up and go anytime you need it, without pressing your throttle pedal too much. In a journey, you don't need to push your engine so hard. When you are doing a long distance journey, it's not a race. You are not doing to do 200 kilometers per hour throughout the journey. No, it's not about speed. What you need is consistency to maintain. So natural aspirated, I would suggest, depending of course the size of the car, because some cars don't even have up to 2 or 2.0 liter engine, but I would suggest car that weighs up to 1,200, 1,300 kg. In that case, 2.0 liter engine might make sense for me if I'm doing that kind of journey. Otherwise, okay, maybe 1.8, depending. Unless you do it occasionally, you are not the type that travels often, or you actually basically you're the person in the car, you don't even have any load with you. Okay, in that case, you could say no need for the bigger engine and the rest. But what I'm saying, try as much as possible to go for the bigger, the better. Now, same thing with turbocharged or supercharged engines. In that case, of course, the bigger the engine as well, the better. But you can see a small engine that can be able to power, have a lot of power, which will come because those first induction engines, they do have a lot of torque, even more than bigger naturally aspirated engines. So in that case, that torque will serve. You don't need to push the engine so hard. I'm not really like the 1.0 engine liter turbocharged engine is better than 3.0 liter natural aspirated engine. No, I'm not in that school of thought. I always have something, the bigger the engine, the better. Turbocharged, better. But let it get bigger, because well, let's leave that argument beside. So get something bigger so that you can be able to pull with that weight. Sometimes experience is the best teacher. So probably when you experience it, you understand. I know a lot of people travel to, so I only remember this because I see a lot of people. Let's see. I see a lot of people, in the journey, they are carrying. Okay, let me not mention any Peugeot model now. Looks like so you could see they're just struggling and the rest. So carry your families. Every car will come and be passing you behind. You'll just be so isolated. It's not like those cars are actually on very high speed, but because your car is as if your engine is dead, you can't even pull. And I could understand it's probably because of the weight, additional loads added on the car. So that small engine or less power vehicle couldn't even handle it anymore. You just no. You see, I will advise against it. It's not everything is about economizing. Oh, let me go for the smallest engine so I consume less. Trust me, there are times in life you realize that economizing for everything can make can put you into depression. If every time in life all you want is let me not spend, let me not, to keep saving. Sometimes it's actually good to travel, you know. When you travel out, go to some remote places or something, especially where you know a lot of people in the past, you know, you see things differently. By the time you start hearing, oh, this person that used to be your close friend or your pals or your relation or your cousin, probably you lost in contact with for a while, that oh, he's gone, he's no longer alive, this has happened, or these other issues, you tend to realize, I mean, at the end of the day, man, all you need to do is make your life as comfortable as possible while you are still living it. Because eventually you're going to follow them soon. You don't know when it's going to be yours. So why make it so miserable when at the end of the day, I mean, you're still going to depart? So that all this idea of full economy, I don't know why people are so crazy about it, you know. But I digest. I digress. I know some might say, okay, what about 504? What about 404? They didn't even have a bigger engine. Yeah, 404, I think by standards, or basically they were all is it 1.6 liter engine? But do you even know the weight? Do you see all those 404 I showed you guys? That 404, no, only one 404. Let me see. Look at it back there. Only one 404 pickup. Go and look at the weight of that car. You know, so that's the thing. And that time, and you might be looking at 404, 504, 505, 405. Those cars have some interesting torque at low RPM. Not massive, but I mean, you need to drive them to understand. So yeah, they could carry all those loads and everything. I'm not saying they speed, but then. So always look at that. You know, the bigger or the more powerful. I'm not saying go for the biggest. That's why he says, oh, because I use VCs, I'm encouraging everybody to buy VCs. If you can, better, trust me, it's a different experience. Yeah, I know for a fact you can't get VCs in 504. You can't get it unless you are buying the coupe. So at least for 504, 1.8 is okay, but I won't go less than 2.0. You know, those are the things you see the difference. So if you are driving like natural aspirated in 307 or so, you can carry load, but if it becomes that massive, if the car is so heavily loaded, don't push the throttle too much. You know, you are stressing that engine. When you want to travel, just don't forget about every other car, let them pass you. Eventually you gain that momentum, and but you can't. If you start pushing it too hard, push your throttle to the floor every time, just to gain that speed, that every time you reduce you stopped or climb a distance, I'm not sure that engine will last for you. You know, so that's the thing. The bigger the engine, the less stress on the engine when it's on a long journey. That's the truth. So go for something bigger. At least even if you want to, even 1.4 liter engine, you can travel with it. In 206, in 307, you can travel with it. But then take it easy. Don't rush it. Rush it, it's not gonna be good for your engine. If you want one that can be able to pull every time you want it, I mean, come on, guys, it's so stress-free. You can tell. If you watch some of that video I did on this last trip I did with my 407 coupe, you can see the car was just moving effortless. You can't even hear the sound of the engine. What you could hear is the exhaust humming, was just humming behind, not the engine. Even with all the load, remember I told you how many cartons of tomatoes I was carrying. Even on my way back, I carried so many things, even plantain, so many things. I mean, the boot was so loaded, I had to even keep some my luggage inside the vehicle, in the cabin of the car. Yeah, the car was pulling effortlessly. Will it consume more fuel? Obviously, yes. The more load you add to the vehicle, the more fuel it consumes. But at that time, fuel consumption will be less of your worries. You know, you need an engine that will not suffer so much, so that something will break down. Because once it becomes so much, I'm not saying, I just don't know. I just hope that people sometimes will understand life differently. Not always about what's the least. What's the least? Stop living that lifestyle. Well, okay, let me not tell you how to live your lifestyle. It's just that, in some circumstances, it's not the best choice. The least. No, it's not the best choice. Look at the transporters. That's why they use 3.0, like some of you watching some would have watched that videos I put up on that trip. You see some transporters, the vehicle they were using. Oh, is it 3.5 liter engine or more? Then people that are using all these other station wagons, smaller distance, there is like 1.8 liter engine for those smaller. I don't want to mention their brands here. So I would suggest get it a little bit bigger. If you want a smaller engine, use inside the city. Then once in a while, travel with it is okay, but not make it a constant car for long journeys. Or even if you do, don't press it too hard. Just maintain normal speed. Keep throttle as low as possible. Don't see those guys, vroom, vroom, vroom. Don't follow them. You wreck your engine doing that. Trust me. It's not meant for it. It's meant for city use. Less, I said, once in a while, yeah, you can push your throttle to the lead line, all those things, but not constantly. If you do it, you wreck that engine. Okay, so I hope this makes sense, and so let's see. Love this car. Okay, so going somewhere to do some stuff, and call it a day.